Thank you. Oh. You have a link to this after, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, welcome to another edition of dDTAlks. Hi, everybody. It's the new year. We're excited to be here at the studio, and I want to welcome you if you are just tuning in. Listen, you got to share. Share, 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 tag, and invite your loved ones. We have an interesting show today. We're talking to women on the move. These are women who are out there living on their lanes in their purpose, just doing really great stuff, empowering other women. So I think you would really truly want to hear from them. If you got a sister, if you got a friend, if you got a wife, if you know somebody, a guy, listen, you need to hear this as well because the information they're sharing is something that would help you and the people that surround you in your life. So I'm getting excited to introduce these ladies all the way from the other side of town.
Town.
Just Germantown, really.
Pittsburgh,
All the way from the other side of town, you know. They came,
Montgomery County.
hey, they came to our side of town, right? And I'm excited to have you here. And so first, to my immediate left right here is Shona Bramble. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you
She
very much.
is a writer, a poet, an author, a speaker. She has a book that we are going to try to dissect a little bit
Yes,
today.
Yes.
So welcome once again.
Thank you.
It's a
Thank
pleasure
you for
to have
having me.
you.
Thank you for
Yes.
having me.
And then the gorgeous lady over there.
Thank you.
I'm filled with beautiful women today. Is Miss Tiffany Adams as well.
Thank you.
Look at her. She's all curves. And if you know anything about me, you know I'm all about promoting curves. So she is the founder of Love Me Curvy. She's
Nice.
also a business and life coach. So you're going to be coached all the way into the new year, into the entire year, right? So welcome, Miss Tiff.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, glad to have you. Glad to have you. So ladies, let's get started. Let's get started with our day here and see what we have in store. I'll start with you because you have a book here called Letters to Girls Who Dream of Flying.
I love it.
That's already, I mean, that's like, there is so much embedded in that title, right?
Yes.
I love it already.
So it's not only the
you.
girls who dream, but who dream of flying. And
Yes.
therefore, you're not just flying on a open, you're obviously flying high.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
talk to us a little bit about title
Yeah.
of the book. I mean, what is this book all about?
Yeah. Well, this book is it's really a passion project. It came straight from the heart, and it's made up of 28 letters from 28 wonderful women who have decided to share their stories, to share their challenges, to share the things about themselves that they would like to help to empower other women.
Right.
And so it has a lot of deep meaning for me. It really does. It's women from different countries, from different cultures, from different backgrounds, different religions, different age groups. The youngest is in their 20s, the oldest is in their 80s. So you get this really nice mix, this really diverse mix of women who are telling you their stories in order to help you to progress in your life. So it's a beautiful experience, and I'm one of those women too in the book. So I'm very proud that I was able to really bring these women together.
Absolutely.
They're all
'Cause you're
women
like-
that I know too. Everybody I know personally. So it's of more importance for me. I think having
It makes the
knowing
book
these
more
women.
intimate to
Absolutely,
you.
absolutely.
28 different walks of life.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and they share stories. And I think you challenge them, you give them like sort of an outline, right? You said,
Yeah, definitely.
tell me a little bit about
definitely,
you.
Definitely.
What is it?
Yeah, I asked them questions about what are the challenges that they faced in life and how have they been able to move forward in life. I asked them questions about how they see themselves, in terms of acceptance. How do they accept themselves and at the end of it, they had this question where they had to basically answer a question regarding if you were to go back into, when you were younger,
Younger.
your younger self, if you were
Right.
to talk to your younger self, what would tell that younger self about dreams. And so that was a really beautiful book because you get to hear these wonderful pieces of advice from these women who are basically speaking to themselves but speaking to the reader at the same time. You know, and each of the letters in the book begin with the words "they're beautiful."
Right.
So that's really strong because anybody who's reading that book is gonna feel like, okay, this person is speaking directly to
Exactly,
me.
you connect to them.
Yes, and I'm a beautiful person. This person is speaking to me. So what a wonderful concept to have that where you're reading each letter and it says they're beautiful and they're talking to you. So I think that's where the connectedness comes together, even though they're from all these different areas, these different parts of life. That's where it really comes together. That each of us we're beautiful, and we have
The
something
thing
to
about,
offer.
you know, I like that phrase when you say, you know, they talk to themselves, they are beautiful. Because one of the important things about women, the thing is, sometimes it's a lifetime to actually accept that you are beautiful.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, people tell
Absolutely.
you, maybe if you're lucky, your parents or the people tell you when you're growing up that you're beautiful. But somewhere in the middle, you don't really hear it a lot.
Right.
So
No,
you
don't.
kind of feel,
You don't.
you doubt that you are.
Yeah.
And when people miss it, like you go on along, you keep thinking, you know, you want a lot of assurance. You want people to remind you that you're beautiful.
Yeah.
Right.
So when women write these letters to themselves, they're almost like, I wish I knew this. You know, when I was 15,
Right.
you know, when I was in my 20s.
Absolutely.
How much time I
Absolutely.
wasted.
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
what is the power of knowing that you're beautiful?
So awesome.
It's a wonderful thing because beauty is a deep thing. It goes beyond the physical beauty. It goes within the spirit. It goes within, you know, how you embrace others and how you accept yourself.
Right.
You know, you may not have everything. You know, you may not have that quote unquote what people think of, you know, what's beautiful in
Right.
today's society. But if you have a beautiful spirit, then that shows. You know, I mean, that really can take you far.
Right.
So I think that definition of beauty really needs to take on a different sort of meaning. And the fact that the word beautiful is used, it was very deliberate on my part to have every single person, no matter what you're going through, no matter how ugly things have been in your life, you know that you're a beautiful person
No matter
inside and out,
exactly.
no matter what.
This is
So
amazing.
yeah.
It is,
is
right?
amazing.
I'm going to draw you in, Tiffany, right here. Because the essence of your platform actually revolves around
Right.
beauty.
Right.
You know, like all that beauty. So elaboration. You know, again, like I said, the founder of Love Me Curvy, which is all about curvy women. Tell us first about the platform and then go into that beauty thing.
Sure. So Love Me Curvy was founded to really help women to embrace their curves. And a lot of times we think about curves as just being the outer statuette of who we are.
Right.
But as we were sharing earlier, Love Me Curves, I want people to understand your curves is also your pathway to success. So a lot of times we think as curves as, again, your outer statue, and we think of success as a straight line. We think of, you know, I grow up, you know, I go to college, you know, I get married, I get a good degree, I get a good job, I have 2.5 kids, and my life is gonna be happily ever after. Not really how success and life works. So life and success is a succession of curves. Think about going around a mountain. You have to go around the mountain and curve several times before you ever get to the peak of that mountain.
Absolutely.
And so that is what the platform of Love Me Curvy is all about. It's really helping women to embrace their mind, their body, and their bank account, and really helping them to build
bank account. You know, women and their money.
and really helping them to build their own success story. So I can't compare myself to another woman. Celebrate women. I celebrate your success, but I don't compare. My job here on this earth is to find my space and to build and create my own success story.
Wow.
So that is what the platform of Love Me Curvy is all about.
That's beautiful.
Man,
That's
you
beautiful.
touched on something. You said find your own space.
Find your own space.
The world is so big,
Yeah.
yet you know we keep stumbling on one another.
Right.
Like we
Yes.
keep tripping over. Like,
Right.
you know, what is it about this whole space thing? Like identifying your lane, your purpose. It's so difficult because, you know, we learn to live as one. Yet you have to sort of branch out.
Yeah.
And is it the
Absolutely.
fear of standing out that
You know,
makes us, you know,
no one
struggle?
really teaches us how to be independent. You know, they teach us how to follow the crowd, how to follow. In the classroom, you have to do everything else everyone else is doing, but no one really teaches you how to stand in your own lane. So now you're 20, you're 30, you're 40, you're 50 years old, and you're trying to figure out, well, what am I here on this earth to do? And so it's so important that as early as possible, we find our lane, we find our space, and we really put it in a purpose and you start living in that purpose.
Yeah.
And my purpose may not be Oprah Winfrey purpose, right?
Right.
You know? But whatever Tiffany Adams' purpose is, which is to empower women, let me be in that lane. And maybe I don't reach 1 million people, but I reach 100 women or reach 1,000 women in my lifespan, and I truly make an impact. You know, to me, that is success. You know, that's success for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you could reach 1 million, but you're not really impacting
Right.
them.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
you're just passing through.
Right.
The
Absolutely.
essence is to be memorable, like to have an impact,
To leave a
something,
true legacy. Yeah.
footprints.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, you know, finding your purpose thing is so important, and I'm glad you touched upon that because, you know, I think for all of us, sometimes we feel like we sort of like, you know, around in this big world and trying to figure out where we are and stuff like that. But I think for me, what I found my life's purpose, which is to really help women and other people find voice, I found that life just felt just a little bit sweeter.
Yes.
And it felt like I was more content, and it felt like I knew where I needed to be and where I needed to go. And so when you're in that space, when you really understand what your purpose is and what you're supposed to be doing, I mean, that's a connection that nobody can break. That's between you and God. That's just like, you know, God put us each here for a purpose on this planet.
So deep.
So
between you and God.
That's it.
And like you said, sometimes there are different ways to get around it. You know, in my book, in the very beginning, one of the questions I ask is, what did you do when you were growing up? And then the next question was, well, what are you now? And then some people either did exactly what they wanted to do, or some did something completely different, but they were still satisfied. Right. Because why? They're still living their purpose of what they're supposed to be doing. And so sometimes we kind of go through these trials and travails in finding that purpose for us, but then also taking that and helping others to do the same thing. And I think that's what makes us children of God. That's what that's what makes us, you know, part of this beautiful place that we all
We're all
inhabit.
intertwined.
Yeah.
I love you said they were satisfied. You know, they found their purpose. Because a lot of
Yeah.
people live a very frustrated life.
Yeah.
And part of that's because they haven't found their path. They haven't found what they're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
And so they're frustrated. They make a lot of money, but they're frustrated. They're married, but they're frustrated. They own a home, but they're frustrated because they haven't really found what they're called to do. And so by living a satisfied life, it's an indication that you're in your right lane.
Right.
You're where you're supposed to be.
Or maybe sometimes you just make peace. You're like, you know, maybe I was dreaming.
Right.
And
Right.
it was unrealistic.
Exactly.
You know, and then you curb the expectations.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You know, because one of the things that, you know, caught my attention was not everybody seems to have, you know, as a little girl, you dream. You have these dreams like, oh, you know, I want to be at this. If I were to ask you, perhaps, what was your dream as a little girl?
Oh my
You know.
goodness. So here's the funny thing.
Three of us, we are not doing what we dreamt of.
It's the funny thing. The funny thing is, part of, you know, as a little girl, you know, I wanted to be a teacher. So my siblings, I have, they're 5 or 6 years younger than me. So 3 of them, mom had 7 children and 3 after me. And so I used to teach them, like in the summertime when they were on vacation, like when we was in the summertime. And I was actually teaching them. They had like, so I always saw myself as being a teacher.
But you know, coaching and stuff, sort of,
Right.
teaching is just not called. It's just not called a teacher, but being a coach, it's essentially that.
Right. So I'm getting more as I mature.
Yes.
I'm getting more in my lane, and every day I'm asking myself, is this the right lane to be in today?
Yeah.
Because maybe last year this was the lane, but maybe this year there's another space I'm supposed to be in. So I want to continue to evolve to the person I'm supposed to be. So yeah.
I think you're doing it. You know,
Absolutely.
and for you,
For me, actually, I wanted to be a flight attendant when I was growing up. Don't ask me
you're
why. I'm flying
teaching
here.
women
I'm
to
flying
fly.
here. You know, and the thing that I found out very
Flight
quickly
attendant.
is that I hated to actually go in planes.
Oh, wow.
I hate flying, so that wasn't going to be the option for me. But I too wanted to be a teacher. I have a little funny stories. You were talking about teaching your sons. When I was growing up, I taught everything. I would teach the trees. I would teach anything that looked like it had life in it because that's what passion was about teaching. And I really admired my teachers. So for me, it was like I saw it as being sort of like, you know, wow, they're able to educate us, and I really admire
you were empowering
teachers.
other people. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just thought I would do that as well. I ended up in different fields. I ended up in publications and in the communication realm. But I find that sometimes you kind of have to go off track a little bit to really figure out what it is that you have to try
And to actually be satisfied, really.
Yeah.
Some people, you know, you have to branch out and then come back to that place where you're like, you know
Exactly.
what? I think this is it. Like after trying
Yeah.
A, B, C, not that you have to try everything, though,
Right,
but I mean,
right.
test the waters.
And
really.
absolutely. You know, we have to try things, and you're gonna fail at some things. And for me, it's like the failures. When I look back now, and I think, oh my gosh, I failed at this, but you know what? It's okay. because that wasn't for me.
Right.
So the failures have
Absolutely.
now become lessons, and they're like,
Yes.
okay, I want to be a lawyer at one point. That didn't quite.
Actually.
You
So did I.
so there's so many things that in life that you wanted to do, think about, you tried, and you're like, that's probably not gonna quite work. And so that's when you start to really, you have to have a truthful conversation with yourself.
With yourself.
Yes.
With
You
yourself.
have to
Absolutely.
really know what it is that really moves you, that makes you get up. When I'm writing, whether it's poetry or if I'm thinking about, I do photography as well. Whenever I'm doing these things, I get excited. Like I dream about these things, and I get very happy when I've written a poem. I'm just like, oh my God, this is coming together so nicely because it's something I'm passionate about. So you really have to find your passion, and just keep working on that.
That's that
Keep
finding
working
your
on that.
passion that haunts
Yeah.
a lot of us.
It
A lot of
does.
us,
It
finding your
does.
passion. Like, what are the things, like, as a coach, perhaps,
Mm-hmm.
how do you guide someone? Like, say someone comes to you, like, I'm trying to find my passion. I'm trying to find my calling. I'm struggling with this area. There must be some tips.
Yeah.
'Cause somebody's just coming, they're just struggling
Yeah.
with life.
So here's the interesting thing. I'm a little different when it comes to passion. I believe we should follow our passion, and our passion may lead us down a road because I'm also a business coach. So a lot of people come to me, they want to find their passion and make money. So a lot of times finding your passion may not necessarily be profitable. Your
Yeah.
passion could actually be helping people as a nonprofit and just giving back. So
Yeah.
finding your passion is really what drives and motivates you to help other people.
Right.
Right. And even if you don't get paid for it, I'm still gonna the homeless. I'm still gonna be whatever your cause is. I'm gonna be pro this cause. But I tell people what drives you, like what irritates you about something that you want to actually change. You know what I mean? Like what
Yeah.
in this you really want to
Yeah.
change, whether it's yourself or in other people, and
Yeah.
that's primarily what will help drive people
Will
towards
guide
their
you.
passion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, as a business coach, I need to figure out whether or not you're gonna make money with that.
Right.
Have to get real.
Right.
Can you pay the bills?
But you can open a nonprofit and help the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Oprah's done many things in the name of her passion, what she loves, and to help people, but she still has a solid revenue stream of how she
Right.
makes money.
Absolutely.
Or streams, should I say, of how she makes money.
Yeah.
That's very,
Yeah.
that money part, translating your passion into money.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us, you're doing all these things, like, you're writing, you're figuring those, it's not going to pay the bills, but you really, but
Yeah.
it's burning in you.
Yeah, it
You know,
is.
it's a
It
thing that
is.
you have to burn it out.
It is. It is.
So if you can't figure out how the money is going to come, maybe that's why a lot of people don't pursue it, because it seems so trivial.
And I think people need to understand that just because it's your passion and you can't make money with it, maybe I'll leave this as a nonprofit, but let me find something else that I can actually prosper in and be
Right.
financially independent with, and then use that to help funnel maybe my passion of helping whatever your cause may be.
So it doesn't always have to be profitable.
It
That's the
doesn't.
essence.
Right,
That's
right.
the
That's the
message here.
And it
You may still have to work your job.
Right,
Or
right.
you may find something else that you're good at, and then you use
Exactly.
that, maybe
To
you-
complement the other.
it. Maybe you sell your paintings, right? Or your
Exactly.
you sell that, and that is your photography, excuse me, and that would be the way to drive income into your business, where you go out and you coach women or young girls.
Yeah.
So it just depends on
Yeah.
what it takes to get to the bottom line dollar.
Right.
So
Because I have a day job, to be
Yeah.
honest. I work in the pharmaceutical industry, and I love what I do there because
Yes.
it's all about patients and,
Right.
and patient care and making sure that the best medicines are available for patients. And that's something I feel in a way I'm passionate about because I have a grandmother who's on different types of medications and stuff like that, and so that always interests me. I have family members who have different illnesses and stuff.
Exactly,
And,
so you
and
get to
that's
see-
I get to see what it is that happens in the research aspect of things in my day job. But people always ask me, like, Shona, where do you find time to do all these things? You're writing poetry, you're putting out
Yes.
a book, you're doing photography. I said, look, whenever you're passionate about something, you're gonna find the time to do
The
it.
time just
Yes,
That's
you have
it.
24 hours in a day.
All at the same
You
time.
know what I mean?
Somehow the time just happens. Like, you're gonna find out you may wake up earlier, you may go to
Exactly.
bed later,
Exactly. And I go to
you
bed
may
later.
skip
I
lunch.
go to bed later. That's
yes,
my thing. I've
you
always
just-
been a night owl. I would be up until 2:00 in the morning, and that's when sometimes I'm most creative. That's when the poetry is writing me, because I don't really feel like I write poetry. I feel like poetry writes. It's
Awesome.
like
So
I
actually,
I
take
have
us into
to-
that world. Give us
I
that.
was waiting to hear that. I was like, I'm gonna live this
I
poetry.
want to hear like sultry, like some floatry.
Poetry
You know,
today.
Poetry.
Let's go.
I'm terrible at reciting my own poetry because I don't remember them. But I've been writing poetry for quite a while. I think I probably started around age 9 or so. But it's something that I think really kind of helped me in terms of like, you know, when you're going through this teenage angst and stuff,
Right.
and there's so many things that you're trying to stay in the right path, okay, and I, for me it was a way to escape a lot of this stuff. I found it very. I grew up in the Caribbean. I grew up in St. Vincent,
Oh, okay. Caribbean.
which is in Caribbean, beautiful little island, and so. For me, I love
Now
the
I
beach.
know. So my tour guide. We have a personal tour guide.
Yes,
about
yes.
vacation.
Where's the vacation?
Yes, yes. But growing up in the Caribbean, there were so many things that to me were sort of like my muse or inspiration for me. The beach, I love the water. And we live on a hill, and so you can see all these different things in the neighborhood. It was sort of like a panoramic
Very
view where I
scenic,
live. So I used to find myself sometimes going off, you know, up the hill where I lived, and I would write stuff, and people wouldn't realize I was doing this. And as I grew older, I would more, but it wasn't, my poetry wasn't really embraced when I was back home in the islands. It wasn't until I moved here to the U.S. My teachers in the American school system really helped me embrace it and to appreciate it, and it really took a much more important life. And,
Right.
But there were times when I didn't write as much, and then of late, the past couple of years, I said, you know what, this thing is calling me again.
Right.
Like, you talk
Like
about haunting
that
retreats, haunting
burning
you,
desire, yeah.
the burning is back, and so I've been writing, and so I'm actually working on my first book retreat.
Awesome.
Very soon, and I'm very excited
I was
about
like-
it. And you know, it's just one of those things where, again, you know, it's something I feel very strongly about. I feel like, you know, in poetry there are messages that you can give that are not quite. They're not plain messages. Sometimes
Yes,
you really have to read
you have
the
to-
lines,
exactly,
you know, to
they're
really
not always
see where
clear.
we're going. And that's what I love about poetry. It's left to your interpretation. So I'm excited about, you know, having that book come out and seeing what people think about it.
So you have a book coming out?
Oh, it's coming out.
Another book.
Poetry, yes.
Yes. Well, you know we want to have that. But you're going to be floor through. You have to recite.
Yes, I'm gonna have to do some poetry. Yes.
You can't wait.
I know.
Snaps.
All right now, bring the money. And she has to make sure that it brings the money.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. I'm gonna need Tiffany's help on that. Yes.
But-
yes.
One thing I wanted to go back to in the book where you talk about, you know, a lot of these women, when in their life, you know, they're faced with challenges, life's challenges. And I think everybody, you know, you may not be going through some challenges now, but you may have just come through or you're yet to face some challenges. You know, so they talk about, you know, they capture some, you know, I went through this, but I overcame it.
Yeah.
You know, what are some of the survival skills that you think helps people to overcome some of those life challenges? Because I think no matter how good you are, somehow it comes at you. You map out your life
It does.
any way you want,
You
right?
know, yeah.
But you still got to live in the real world.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think it's funny that you asked that question, because I think one of the themes that really cropped up in this book is God and religion and spirituality. And a lot of these women talk about prayer, about the fact that they prayed.
Yes.
They prayed on certain things, and that was the first that came to them. My 84-year-old grandmother is in this book, and she talks about her life. And I love reading her letter because, I mean, I know her so well, and I grew up with her. And to hear her speak and get a chance to have her voice out there,
Right.
you know, normally that really happened for her, someone who didn't even go to school in her earlier days, stuff like that. So to have that there, but I think for a lot of people too, it's also about being realistic about what is it that you really want to do and what you really want to accomplish,
Right.
and knowing that there are going to be challenges along the way. I mean, the reason why I wrote this book too at the time that I did was because I was going through some challenges in my life. I was going through major challenges with health, with relationships, with situations. And so for me, I think sometimes you have to just kind of step back.
Right.
And you really just have to just wait and just be still for a while, you know, and just sort of rethink things. And I think that helps a lot of folks in terms of, you know, recalibrating and thinking about what is it that I really need to do here.
Absolutely.
You know, why is this? Where is this pain coming from? Where is this hurt coming from? And how do I approach this? You know, one size doesn't fit all. We can't use the same tools to cure everything that we have. So it depends on what it is that you're going through. Sometimes you need
Need more time than
Sometimes,
others.
Sometimes you need a good friend. Sometimes it might be your priest. Sometimes it might be your mentor. I have mentors in my life, and so sometimes I go to them and I ask them questions and I ask for help. And I think the main thing is for women to understand that we should always always ask for help.
Yes.
You know, we think we have to keep it
I think not
inside.
only women, really, just
And
about
I
every
think
human being,
everyone
men like
does,
women.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of women do. We tend to internalize, though. We keep it in.
Yeah.
You know, really keep it in. We let it saturate, and that's not good for us.
And then
we're
when it
finding
comes
that
out, it's a mess.
yeah,
you know,
we're finding that out.
It's not
So,
structured. It's not constructive.
Yeah.
So everything is just all over the place.
Yeah.
Tiffany,
Yeah.
I want you to help to, add to that conversation
Sure,
as well.
sure.
But guys, if you're just watching, if you're just joining, to share, tag, and invite, we're talking to women on the move, on the
Yes.
rise. They're
Yes.
just space setters. They're just changing things, in their works, in their individual paths in life, just doing really exciting stuff. So, Shona right here is an author. She has a book with her in the studio, which you're going to hear more from. She's going to give you the links on how you can find this book, how you can get access to the book.
Absolutely.
Tiff is also a coach, just doing big stuff. So let's go back to the question. I just wanted to hear your take on survival skills of,
Yeah.
when you're going through all these life struggles. Shona says you have to kind of wind down, sometimes listen to the inner voice, I guess.
Absolutely. And I can't, and I agree 100% with that. Over the last few years, my family have had some major life challenges, as you may know. My father passed in 2014. Last year, I had I'm a female. I had a major heartbreak last year. My uncle passed. He was like my second dad after my dad passed. He transitioned. And then in August of last year, right after I launched my hair company, my brother had a heart attack.
Oh my gosh.
Just not even 40 years old. He just January the 7th would have been his 40th birthday. And so many things were going on. So many things in business. My business relationships were kind of changing, and I took some time to really just step back, because like you said, I'm like, okay, God, what do I need to be doing? I'm very active in my church, in the ministry there, as you know,
Right.
and I'm
She's
like,
an ordained minister too, by the
Oh
way.
wow.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
not officially,
But you took the course.
yeah, we went through it.
Getting there. She's getting there.
Minister Tiffany. Okay.
So, I had to
was
step
there.
back, and yes, you were. You came. Thank you for supporting. So I had to take a step back and say, okay, God, what am I supposed to be doing? Because a lot of things are changing that I have absolutely no control over.
Right.
And I think that's the thing about life challenges. We have absolutely sometimes no control over some of these major things that hit us.
That are happening.
And how do we just pick ourselves up and keep moving? And I think you made a great point. I mean, the first thing is for me, is having a relationship with God and just deep and say, God, okay, through prayer. I speak in prayer, and then I reassess the things in my life, especially through last year, like, God, what's important, what's not important, what am I really supposed to be doing, and try to filter out those things that is going to cause me to live in my purpose. Because we get tied down with so many things that has no, it's not relevant to our purpose. It's not relevant to us being successful in our own way. We get tagged out and bothered down with people, situations, and circumstances, and then we're left feeling drained, and we have no energy to even fight our own challenges. For me, I think it's really finding what it is you're supposed to do, kind of putting some priorities in place, and really seeking, for me, I seek God about what is my next step. And I didn't always do that. I was just all over the place at one time. And so now I seek God, and I prioritize, and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm working on. Other things, it doesn't even matter right now, because I got to get through. And the only way I can get through is if I'm focused on what I need to be focused on, and I'm in tune with prayer and with God. So,
This is really powerful. I mean, sorry again for your loss. But in life, personally, I've experienced a lot of loss in my own life. I've lost dad, I've lost cousins. I mean, I've just gone through a lot of that, and then you just really wonder, like, you're compelled to question yourself and almost ask, like, where did I go wrong? What's me? Sometimes you're forced to. You almost think it's about you, but you even fail to understand that it's really not about you.
It's not.
Some of the things happen to other people,
And much worse.
but you're just
course.
impacted by it, and you're absorbing it as and you're absorbing it as it's about you. Sometimes you have to allow yourself release things and say, what I really, it's not part of me. I have no control over this. Person passed, there's nothing I could do. Sometimes we just bury the guilt. Like, maybe you could have done this, maybe you would have saved them, maybe you would have done that. And you just have to accept that it wasn't your fault. It was their time, and that it's eventually going to be your time too. So what are we doing? Nobody knows when their expiration date is going to be. So the important thing is, just we should focus on the on
On
this
the now.
side,
Yes.
on the now,
Living in
being
the
present.
Moment. In the moment.
That's good. Being
So
present.
a
Living
lot
in the
of
moment.
some of the things that you talk about, like these letters to these young girls, you know, who are dreaming. Problem is sometimes we're caught up in that dream, and we dream and we're forgetting that
Yeah.
as you aspire to those dreams, you're really not living. You keep wanting for tomorrow, like I can't wait for
Wow.
when I get rich.
Right.
That's good.
I can't wait for when I marry.
That's
But you're
good.
failing to see
Wow.
what's,
But what's
in front
right
of
in
you
front of
right
you at the
now.
moment, at the
And then you
moment.
wake up next year.
Yeah.
You wake up the next year, like now we're this year, and then you look back at last year, like, what did I really do? Like I
Right.
blinked out on last year because I
Right.
kept hoping for something that was going to happen. That didn't happen that year. Maybe it's still to come.
Right.
But now you spend a whole year of
year.
vacuums.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
good.
so we should learn that now
Yeah.
principle, which is
Yeah.
really
That's
big.
good.
It's huge. It's huge. You mentioned that because recently I started to meditate. I learned how to meditate back in college, and recently I started to do it again because I found myself feeling like you were mentioning earlier. Sometimes you feel so scattered and
Yes.
your ideas are all over the place, and so you have to try to prioritize. And for me,
Right.
I've learned that by meditating, it kind of helps me to stay grounded, and it helps me to basically lose that negative voice because there's a lot of negative voices out there and a lot of negative
you
power
telling?
out there
Yes.
that's really trying to not help you get to where you need to get to. So you really have to, and the thing that I appreciate about meditating is that you learn to live now, you learn to appreciate now, and it's about also having gratitude,
Yes.
just gratitude for the things that you currently have in your life.
Right.
You know, I used to have a friend back in the day that would ask me, he would say, you know, why is it that you're always smiling? I said, listen, my friend, I woke up this morning. That's
Thank you.
enough of a
Absolutely.
reason to smile when you see
Absolutely.
someone
Absolutely.
in the morning. You wake up. Somebody did not wake up this morning.
No.
Several people did not wake up this morning. So it's about
Some people
being
are in funeral homes
Yeah.
as we
True.
speak.
That's
Yeah.
Exactly. So the fact that you wake up in the morning, you have breath.
Yeah.
You're actually in a bed. You got up in a bed.
Right.
Do you know how wonderful and beautiful that is? It's just the appreciation of you
Get
have a
shelter.
home,
Yeah.
you have a shelter. Just a few weeks ago, I went to an event and I was leaving, and I remember my girlfriend and I were walking. She's a good friend of mine, and we saw this woman, and she was standing outside of a library, and she was putting cardboard on the floor, getting ready. And you could see she's getting ready to go to sleep. And I'm thinking, it's about
Wow.
25 degrees out here, and she's getting ready to get ready to lay down on that cold floor on this
On cardboard.
to sleep. And here I am going home, knowing that there's warm bed waiting for me in my
Right.
70-degree apartment. I'm just like, there's something
Yeah.
not quite right about that. What do I have to complain about?
Right.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
my life is already fulfilled. The fact that I have somewhere to go, a place to sleep, something to eat. The fact that I
Yeah.
can eat. Some people can't. They don't have the ability to eat.
And that's that place
So-
of gratitude where
Yeah,
you
I'm
have
telling
to
you.
say,
I'm telling
as
you.
much as I want all these
Yeah.
things,
Right.
you must
Yeah.
pause
Yeah.
to say,
Yeah.
I
You
have
to
all of
pause.
this.
I have all of this.
Yes.
I'm happy with this.
Yeah.
I appreciate this that I.
And if you don't stop at that
Yeah.
point to appreciate time more, you never really see
Right.
it. You
Right.
keep wanting
Yeah.
the next thing, the next
Yeah.
thing.
And you
Exactly.
don't become grateful. You
Exactly.
know?
Yeah, you
And
just
then
find out you're a
you-
hoarder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You made that comment because one of the things over the last year, I started doing when I wake up. You know, as I said, God, I thank you. And I just start telling what I'm thankful for. First of
Yeah.
all, just waking up. You know,
Right.
because that's
Yeah.
literally what happened to my brother. He
telling
didn't
you.
wake up.
Wow.
You know, he had a heart attack in his sleep and he didn't wake up. So I just
Lord
start saying, God,
Jesus.
thank you for waking me up. And I start thank you for keeping my house
Yeah.
safe. No one tried to attack my home. My car is safe.
Yeah.
You know, my family is safe. Just saying
Yeah.
thank you for, like you said, having
Yeah.
a place to lay your head.
Right.
Yeah.
It is so important that we remember,
Yeah.
you know, all the things we do have,
Yeah,
right? Before
absolutely.
we start complaining about what we do not
Absolutely.
have.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I think we get kind of in our space sometimes where we're like, well, you know what, I want this, and I want to be making this amount of money, and I want to be doing this, and I want to be doing that. The question is, can you do certain things with what you currently have
Right.
already?
Right.
Can you make it work? Can you live within your means to do the things that make you happy? And if the answer to that is yes, then you don't need all the extra stuff. The extra stuff is just icing on the cake.
Exactly.
You know what I
Right.
mean? It's just
Exactly.
icing, you know, and for me, it's just like little things for me that make me happy and excited. Sometimes are the things that are free.
Wow. Yep.
Things that are free. Going to a park, sitting in a park and watching people and inspired to write something. That makes me incredibly
Going to the
happy.
cafeteria
You
at
know what I
lunch.
mean? Being with my friends, being with my family, you know,
Yes,
having time with my grandmother, who is at a time in her life where her stories are so important.
It
And
is.
and I need to hear them because, you know, our like you said, we're losing people in our lives, and I know at some point we'll lose the people in our lives, and for me, having her right now, that's so important.
It's a blessing,
and it's such a blessing and such a beautiful thing, and so I want to cherish that. Absolutely. I want to cherish. These are the moments that I'm enjoying. Yeah, there are certain things I didn't get to accomplish in life. And I may not accomplish them, but you know what? I'm still okay with that.
You have to be. Okay. You have to get to a point where you make peace. Like,
yes,
I wanted X, Y, Z. Yes, but it hasn't happened. Yeah. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen because there's always a chance. Right. Who are you to question what tomorrow holds? Right. You just never know. We don't know how fast the story may change. For the better, for the worse, really never for the worse. Right. Our better days are ahead, right? Absolutely. So let me take there's a question here. Like, what do you ladies tell the girl child on how to find their purpose? Maybe parents will learn what to do. More so, does having a role model mean you are comparing yourself to another woman? That was motivation for the individual. Does having a role model mean you're comparing yourself to another woman? Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. I think we need models in the sense that I think in a lot of situations in life we need models. And when I say models, I mean like modeling for even what a good relationship looks like. Especially for young people, not just women, but for men and women, we need to see what those models of good relationships look like.
Correct.
We need to see what those models of being content look like. We need to see so we can figure out how we can create whatever we need to create in ourselves. We're not taking everything from that person.
Yeah,
we're looking at different aspects of it to see how we can better ourselves and create the person we want to be. You know what I'm saying? But it's good to have models because Rome wasn't built in a day. I mean, there are things that you don't want to always have to.
You can emulate from Mary.
If you can take a little bit here, a little bit there. You, but you still have to create your own individual self.
Yes. But I can see where that question comes from in the sense that sometimes you emulate too much. Like you want to suddenly replicate. You cross over a model to you want to be.
Right. To emulate them. Yeah. As a model, part of the role of a role model is to teach and to provide wisdom on how they should go about doing what they want to do. Right. So absolutely. If I'm a singer, right, which I'm not, but I have people who are singers. I have a role model, people who do sing because they're inspiring to get to a level of just greatness in singing. So no, they would maybe never sing like Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston or Beyonce or whoever you want to name, the Cobbs. But when they find their own space in their singing, how do I become great at that?
Right.
And so what our role models should do is to teach and provide wisdom in what they're trying to do and to understand that, listen, I don't your level of success is going to be, but when you get there, this is what some of the things you should look out for.
Exactly.
So I definitely, everyone needs a role model. I don't care who you are. You all need a role model.
Absolutely.
Someone to help teach and provide guidance of what you're trying to get to.
To add to that, I mentor people in public speaking. I speak myself, and I sometimes hear people say, you're so good. I want to be like you. I said, I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be better than me. I want you to get to the point that you're so good. But I'm gonna teach you what is it you need to learn about the techniques, about the skills, about how to build your confidence, how to find your voice within your sort of speaking voice that you're gonna have.
Right.
But you need to take that to the next step. So now I'm finding that my mentees are coming to me and saying, you know what, I have this idea. I want to do this. I want to do that. Wow. And that's where you start to really put that knowledge out there.
Exactly.
And they start to take that knowledge and they create own space for themselves. But having role models are important. We need them.
Yes.
Good role models.
Absolutely.
Good role models.
Absolutely. The role models that are going to
maybe what makes a good role model, because let's say there's a young girl who's just she's hungry, she knows she wants more. How does she tell the difference between who's a good role model from what's a bad role model? I mean, that's a difficult thing, but
question.
Does she need someone to tell her who the role model is, or she's gonna have to learn for herself?
It's interesting because we get into that area of what you've learned as a child. right? So I was blessed to have a phenomenal mother. My mother is a pastor in North Carolina, and she raised 7 children. Always supported my father. She had, once her kids got of age, she finally got her own business. She's ran a daycare for years. When my father transitioned, she now runs 3 churches. So for me, I have a phenomenal role model, right? As what a strong woman should be, what a great mother should be, a great wife should be, a great business person. I have it all. And so I think part of it starts in our community. Right?
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
there should be a role model before they see the person on stage, on TV, here on radio. It should be someone in their community that they can actually touch and
A tangible person. Yes.
Then say, well, I want to
Yeah.
be like them in some way.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they can't teach me how to sing, how to write, how to dance, but they can teach me how to have good character.
Yes.
Right.
And how
Exactly.
to be, humility.
Exactly.
They can teach me some of those basic
Exactly.
morals
Yeah.
that we need. And I
Yeah.
think it really starts in the community.
It does.
Of
It
finding,
does.
having that role
It
model
does.
in the community. Say, I want to be a good person.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that person on stage. They might have a great talent, but not a good person.
Right.
You know, so
Exactly.
you want to really start with make sure you build on that
I mean,
foundation.
that's a statement.
That's
Because
a
a lot
good
of
point.
times
That's
there's
a
the
good point.
outside
Yeah.
Personality, there's
Yeah.
a
There's the
persona,
real
there's a
everyday.
persona.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think hopefully there's someone in their community, and if not, then for a young child it can be hard because now they only see what's on stage.
Right.
They only see, and that's why I believe in having mentorship programs, whether you do church or something in your school, something where they're surrounding themselves with people with good morals that they have. You know, you may not believe what I believe, but at least it's some sort of moral,
Yeah.
some sort of.
I think this is where the point of taking programs to other neighborhoods that are not as blessed really becomes valuable.
It does.
Because
It
sometimes
does.
those people who are
Right.
growing up in on the privileged communities, you may not really have them because all you see is, I mean, you may be lucky that your biological parents may have that, maybe 1 or 2 people, but you're really surrounded by a lot of negativity, dropouts,
Right.
drugs, and
Right.
infested community. How do you really shine out of that? But you have people that have become success stories.
Of course.
Grew up in that, but
Of course. Of course.
departed from it,
Yeah.
and made a good story out of life.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
because you were able to see beyond that and go past that. I mean, I can use example of people in my own family who I feel are successful, but we didn't grow up rich. We didn't grow up with every single thing we wanted. You know what I'm saying? But we were able to take from our life experiences and what we learned growing up,
Right.
and those life skills and those things that are those core values that we have in our family. You know, that you don't become envious of other people.
Right.
Because my grandmother
Right.
used to always say, never be envious of anybody else because you don't know how they got
You don't know
what
how
they
they got
got.
there.
You don't know how they got it.
Tell them, tell them.
Be
what
happy
they had
with what
to
you
do.
have. You don't know. You don't know how that person got what they
know.
got. Do not have that.
Oh, you don't know how much and how long they've been working. Right?
Exactly.
They've worked
You
hard.
don't
What
know.
sacrifices
You
they
don't
have.
know.
Inherit
You don't know the
something.
sacrifices
Yeah.
that they made. So, it's important to really have people that will instill in you, or you can take those morals and those core values from the very beginning. It has to start early, though.
Yes.
Right, it
It has
does.
to start
It
super
really
early so
does.
it's embedded in you because, I mean, in my formative years, I was in the Caribbean, in the islands. And of course, Caribbean parents can be very strict. And I appreciate that.
Really? It's good to
to-
know. African parents.
are very
Well,
strict.
wait a minute. I'm from the United States.
Tell us about
And my
it. Tell us about it.
mother
Sound
was
it.
strict. All right, I'm from
See?
North Carolina, and my
See?
mother was strict.
Okay, so the sound is.
So it's
You're learning about black culture.
it's a commonality. It's a commonality. But I think what I'm trying to say is that, there are things that they try to teach us, I think, at the very beginning, in our very early years to really help us to be able to tackle things when we become adults and and of course things will change, life will throw these little rings at us and we have to figure it out and we have to figure out how it's going to work. But once you've got that core stuff within you and you're strong enough to really keep that within you, then you're going to be an okay human being.
Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
it comes from the core. It comes from the core.
I believe that.
Yeah, it comes from the core.
So let me digress a little bit to my curvy sister over there. What's your goal, for the curvy woman? What do you tell these women today, who are struggling with all these issues in today's, you open a magazine, everything looks perfect.
Yes.
You open TV, everybody's, crystal clear. Like, what do you tell women who are, yet you have to go on to your everyday life, you're struggling with your body image, your self-esteem is crumbling, you have a message for
I
some
do.
of our sisters?
And one thing I didn't share, it was last year, the end of 2016, me and a couple of friends of ours, we published an online book. It's called Thrive and Prosper, and it talks about the Proverbs 31 woman. And so I took a segment of that chapter, which really talks about charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but the woman who fears the Lord shall be praised. And so that was the passage that I actually
That's
wrote
a good
about.
one.
And I want to talk about understanding who you are and the woman that you see in the mirror. And one thing I shared with in that book was I was basically saying that when God created Eve, it was a perfect world. Everything in the Garden of Eden was perfect. Think about it. I mean, there was no sin, there was no cigarette smoke, there was no smog, there was nothing, right? I hate cigarette smoke. There was none of that in the world. You know what I mean? It was just a perfect world. So think about, you're an artist, you take, pictures, and think about the most beautiful image you've ever taken. And 10x that, because that's what the Garden of Eden was like. And everything in that world was perfect. It was just perfect and beautiful. And when he decided to make us, he put Adam to sleep. He was the first doctor ever. He put him to sleep. And he took his time and he molded us to who we are. So what could he add to a beautiful world? And so in the book I talk about, we are God's imagination to a perfect world. What could he imagine? He imagined
God's
us
imagination to a perfect world.
And I say that to say this because when we look into the mirror, no matter what we see, we are all God's imagination to a perfect world. He didn't have to create us the way he did. He didn't have to create us with curves and how he made us and have an ability to gain a little fat here and there and not, you know what I mean? But when he thought about what would be complementary, not just to Adam,
Right.
but to the world that he created, he thought of us. And so when you look in the mirror, I tell women to understand no matter who you are God's imagination to a perfect world. And if you understand that, you'll get more comfortable with who you see every day. You'll get more comfortable. Yes, I want to, maybe, work out a little bit. I might want to slim here and slim there, but it doesn't matter. I'm still God's imagination to the perfect world. And so you have to see me as God's piece to the perfect world.
And there's someone out there who is just dreaming of exactly this image, right?
Exactly.
So sometimes we're struggling so much to alter what is actually meant to call your purpose into existence.
Because think about Adam didn't have any say of what Eve looked like. He just needed a helpmate. But he didn't have any say about how long her hair was going to be, how brown her skin was going to be, how light her skin was going to be, how curvy she was going to be, what her size was. He just woke up and God gave him what he needed. And so, and he realized, like, this is good. Like, this is good. This is what I needed. And so when
God, you're a genius.
When he finds you, he's going to be like, oh, this is what I've been looking for. Because you are his imagination as well. This is what he's been looking for. And I just want to encourage anyone out there who may be, struggling with self-esteem issues and struggling with about your curves and maybe you don't look like the person in the magazine. I do eat 3 meals a day. So you
have to eat.
You got to eat.
At some point.
So remember that you are God's imagination to a perfect world. So that which means that when you look into the mirror, even though you may want to do a couple of things, want to improve this and that, may want to go blonde this week, whatever you want to do, you are perfect. You're already perfect.
Wow.
Because when God created you, he created you to be in a perfect place.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That speaks to self-acceptance too.
Yes.
Go
ahead.
I'm sorry. I feel like we have church in here right now. Let's go ahead with that theme.
Yes.
I think the self-acceptance thing, it's really strong.
Yes.
It's really strong because if you can appreciate who you are, in the skin that you're in,
absolutely.
then it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about what you look like or whatever. You just feel good within yourself.
And it took me a while to get there, right?
But there's a point where there's a fine line with that, you accepting yourself, and then you understand that maybe you have to work on yourself.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So sometimes we confuse it too. Like there may be things about yourself that you understand you have to work on to improve. So there's room for improvement.
Absolutely.
Of course.
So.
Of course.
Some people get that, and they worry about that. Like, are you, especially when it's coming from, your loved ones are telling you need to, especially weight, you're telling you need to lose some weight. Some don't take that too kindly. But what they really say is out of love, like, you're perfect, you're beautiful, but can you be better? Yes. It's almost like saying, you just graduated high school. Can you still further your education? Will that help you? Can you read a book? Yes, you can with high school education. But if you went to college, it just means you're advancing your mind, your knowledge, your creativity, and everything.
Yeah, I did I had a course one a couple of years back. It was called Challenge to Change, and it was a 30-day course to really help women to kind of go through this process. And one of the things I did was we talked about weight, because we're always on this journey of losing. It's New Year resolution. And
Everybody is trying to lose.
I'm going to this day. We're day 11. I'm doing a no meat challenge, and I've been working out. So I'm in it. Things I talked about is understanding what your purpose is, and understanding that everything has to be in alignment. Your health has to be in alignment. What you do, your mindset has to be in alignment. Your finances has to be in alignment. Because if I'm called to do something and I'm not able physically to do it, right? I can't even walk up the steps.
Right.
Or, I have now diabetes. So instead of me fulfilling my purpose, I'm worried about, some health issues that I had control over. I mean, some things you don't have control over, right? Some things you can't. But the things you have control over. So I'm telling people everything that must be in alignment. And that means your health. Doesn't mean you're going to be a size 2, but maybe you should work on you need to work on, so that you can
so
be
don't allow
prepared.
any parts to be broken or be sick. So try to stay whole. A holistic approach towards life, really. So ladies, mind, body, soul. Basically, that's what it boils down to. Ladies, we're winding down on the hour. I can't believe it.
I know. It seems like it went by so
I know.
fast.
I'm like, I still had a lot of questions. Ladies.
Goodness.
But that's what happens when you're having good, healthy conversation. Tell us one salient thing about the book that you want us to remember. Why should someone buy the book? Why would you recommend it to your daughter or to anybody really? It's not only for women, it's not only for daughters, but it's about anybody. What is it?
And it really isn't just for women. I've had men readers who have come to me and said, this is wonderful. Thank you for providing this for me, because it helps me to understand the women in my life and situations and the things that women go through. And sometimes women are so marginalized and like that. And I think men need to see what's happening with us and the things that we endure.
Through the woman's eyes.
Through the woman's eyes. I mean, in this book, you're going to see either yourself or someone that you know that might be experiencing this. And for me, when I wrote this, I said earlier, I was going through a number of experiences in my life. And I honestly believe that I wrote this book not just for the women out here, but for myself.
For you.
I wrote it for me because it was a healing proponent for me. So I think anyone picking up this book, they're going to identify with someone within this book, within these pages. I don't call them chapters, I call them flights. Because again, that was something very
the flight
unique.
attendant in her.
I love it.
In every flight, you're going to find a woman that you either know that person or you are that person. And the fact that women are empowering women to be better and to accept who they are, that self-acceptance piece is so strong in this book. We all have things that are happening, like you mentioned earlier. There are things that take us off course, but knowing that you are beautiful with it.
Right.
And this book, I think, is going to help a lot of people just to realize that, what, I may not have gone the path that I hoped that I would go, but I'm still okay.
Yeah.
Finding peace, making peace, resolution with yourself.
Absolutely.
Tiff.
Yes.
Tiff. I know you have a lot of projects this year. First of all, how can people locate you?
Sure.
In terms of, they want to grow their businesses. They want everybody. This is the right time of the year.
Yes.
Most people have new projects in line, but they're feeling overwhelmed.
Yes.
About it. So you realize the list is too long. How do you help
Yes.
filter some of those things?
Sure.
How can they find you?
Sure. For those who want to find me, you can go to my website at www.lovemecurvy.com. If you want to email me, you can definitely reach out via email and Tiffany@lovemecurvy.com. And I'm also on Facebook, so check me out on Facebook as well. I would love to connect with you.
Oh, and by the way, for my book, you can get it
Yes.
on Amazon. So make sure you go on and
By the way, you need to sign my
I wish you'd have brought me one.
Yeah.
to sign my book. Okay. She needs to be signing. I got it,
Amazon, check it out. You'll there, and if you have Prime, you get it the next day. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay, so letters to girls who dream of flying. Are you a girl who's dreaming of flying? If you want to fly, the first thing is you have to understand that you can actually fly. So flying is possible. It's possible because you have to tell yourself that you can.
Yes.
Anybody really can. All these women are women who conquered a lot. They overcame. It's not because life is going to be a smooth sailing thing.
Right.
not always predictable.
Right.
Right.
There are going to be obstacles, but can you
Absolutely.
overcome those
Yeah,
obstacles?
absolutely.
The answer is yes, in that there are tools out there that would help you overcome anything. Just about anything you're going through, you're not the first.
Nope.
Right.
Neither you're the last.
Absolutely.
Right.
Right, there's
Absolutely.
always somebody going through the
Absolutely.
exact or
Absolutely.
similar thing
Yeah.
that you're going through.
Yeah.
You just don't know them,
Yeah.
and it may take one person to bridge that for you. You know, hold your
Absolutely.
hand and say, "Hey, look at the other side."
Absolutely.
You know, so sometimes don't allow yourself to down
Yeah.
in those issues.
Mhm.
Just
I agree.
understand that it's solvable.
Yes.
You know, and
Yes.
trust in the higher power.
Yeah.
There's a God everybody believes
Yes.
in,
Yeah.
you know, in their spiritual first of all, and then there's the God. You know, if you're not godly, if you're not Christian or whatever, you know, you still have some higher force
Yes.
in your life that you
Absolutely.
obviously believe in.
Yeah.
Apply that. You know, what are the salient point? What last thing do you want to leave us with? What last thing do you want to leave the audience with that they could take home
You
with
know-
them, other than the book? You know, some positive
Yeah.
message.
I think us women supporting women is really something that's so good. I think especially today with everything that's going on. I think we're all hearing these stories about things that are happening to women in all these different industries, and I think sometimes we bring each other down.
Too
and
much.
that's
Ooh.
really a sad thing. We all have these different experiences, but in the scope of things, we're all trying to get somewhere. We all have a journey. We're all trying to be our very best. So why not help each other to be our very best? Why not support each other to be our very best?
Accept everyone's story for
Accept
what it is.
everyone's
That
story,
their
because
story is
everyone has-
authentic.
and everybody has a story.
They do.
It's just
They
when
really-
when you decide to tell that story, it's really up to you. Yeah, it's up to you.
What's your last goodbye message?
No, it's been wonderful. My goodbye message really is, again, I love it. Everyone has your story, and that's kind of the theme of Love Me Cover, building our own success story. And I want to just share something that I have, that the Lord has given me for 2018, and it's really about being successful. As we go throughout this year, there's many things we want to accomplish, and I just want to leave this success formula with you. It really is faith plus work, because everything requires work, times consistency, right, equals success. So in order for you to really get to that level that you want to get to this year, it's going to take your faith, you put it in the work, and it's going to 10x every day work towards success, every day work
All right. So faith, work, consistency is your formula for success. Hey guys, it's been a wonderful show. I wish we had more time. I wish we had more time. We just don't have that much time. Listen, guys, you know where to find more juicy information. You have to come back to dDTAlks. We're always here. We're live. I try to bring you the best, trickier stuff, and today we had the best in their lane, juicy stuff. So go out and follow this. It is follow the tag, share. Don't just watch, share, guys. It's been productive. It was wonderful. I love having you guys. Thank you so much for coming to the studio. The weather was good too. But listen, I always like to kind of like, no one has told you that they love you. She loves you. She said, Diana, I love you passionately, and I love you with the love of God. Stay tuned, come back, follow Diane. And, I'll see you next week. Bye for now. Bye.